Honorable Minister. Question number 411 has been asked by Honorable N.L. Webster to the Minister of Home Affairs. The question is about whether the Minister intends to introduce legislation to change South Africa's electoral system from a closed-list proportional representation system to a constituency-based system. The Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, House Chair. The Honourable Member would be aware that the former Minister of Home Affairs appointed an electoral reform consultation panel to consider this issue of possible electoral reform. That process is now well underway with public engagements and other parts of that process being rolled out. That panel will then make recommendations which will also come to this House. And it's only at that stage, once this process has concluded, that we can really engage on the substance of whether or not these changes will be made or required. Thank you.
Thank you. The first supplementary question will be asked by Honorable Webster.
Minister, a policy position is a commitment to the public, and your own political party has a clear position on electoral reform. In your party's policy on electoral reform, it recommends that a mixed PR and constituency system is ideal for this country. And I want to quote, "The notable strength of a mixed PR and constituency system is the direct accountability of public representatives through the introduction of constituency-based voting," end quote. So do you support or reject this position, which is your political party's position on electoral reform?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Chair. The great thing is that I've spent a lot of time in my career working on the importance of the separation between party and state. So I'm very grateful that the Honourable Member is that interested in the policy position of this party. But the process that's being undertaken by this electoral reform panel demands the utmost independence. And I have made it clear throughout this process that there is actually nothing more fundamental for our democracy than questions around the electoral system. And therefore, while an independent process is underway, it would be completely inappropriate for any of us to get ahead of that or in any way to undermine the independence of that panel. So that is the approach that we will take. We will uphold the independence of this panel at all times, and we will await the recommendations, and it would be at that point where it would, of course, be entirely appropriate for everyone in this House to engage with the recommendations. But let me just repeat again, before that happens, it is a live and ongoing process. So if the Honourable Member has strong views on this matter, then I can only recommend that she take the opportunity and engage with this panel. They are currently working as we speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. The second supplementary question will be asked by Honourable Chabane.
Thank you, House Chair. I'm asking to take the question for Honourable Chabane.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Minister, indeed the PC on Home Affairs received update on the work of the electoral panel through the Minister. Can the Minister indicate if the panel is on track with its work as per the timeline they presented to the committee? Thank you very much, House Chair.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Chair. Yes, as of now, this process is underway and on track. There are timelines that the panel has committed to meeting, and in many ways, I think the appropriate way to look at the Department of Home Affairs' role here is as a secretarial and support service to the panel. Let me just emphasize again, the independence of this process is absolutely fundamental, because it will, in one way or another, whether its recommendations are implemented or not, it impacts on the very essence of our democracy and the way in which voting functions. So indeed, we are imploring the panel to stick to the timeline. We are providing the secretarial support it requires. But even as we say that, above all else, It is the integrity and the thoroughness of that process that must guide us as we deal with this really, really fundamentally important question. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. The third supplementary question will be asked by Honorable Roos.
Thank you, Minister. So, Minister, in the 6th Parliament under the previous administration, the Portfolio Committee on Home Affairs was dogged by the late submission by the then Minister of Electoral Reform, etc., etc. And my question in this regard, you've said that the Electoral Reform Consultation Panel is making progress and it's going to be in time. What is being done in terms of capacitation in your department on legal advice? Because the legal advice before, it seemed to be problematic, and this is what was creating the situation where the Minister was unable to table legislation in time.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, well, I think the gazetting of this reform panel, or its activation, was done in a timely manner because it gives us the longest possible runway before the next national and provincial election. So in principle, we should be able to thoroughly engage with this without it being rushed. However, there are some, the question about legal advice and legal support extends to the understaffing of Home Affairs more generally. I am happy to report in the context of this question that we've recently gotten approval from the Department of Public Service and Administration to advertise 99 really important senior positions within the department, including Chief Director for Legal. So if we can get those positions filled with the kind of excellent candidates we're looking for, it hopefully will address the issue that you raised. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. The last supplementary question will be asked by Honorable Letlape.
Minister, we can all agree that no electoral system is perfect and that each electoral system has its own weaknesses and strengths. And although not perfect, in the South African setting, the PR system has ensured a fair and significant representation for both majority and minority parties in Parliament. Given this, which measures have you put in place to ensure that the system remains a fair and accurate reflection of the will of the people? Thanks.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Chair. Well, I believe those measures will follow on this process that I've outlined, but I am very encouraged to see that we are clearly going to have a very stimulating debate on this matter when that appropriate time arrives. So at this stage, I think everyone must please engage, please make sure that your voice is heard, and that indeed the Honourable Member's view is articulated as part of this process. That's why it's for, and I would encourage everyone to participate and then clearly look forward to the outcome of what this panel recommends, the options it puts on the table, and then most importantly the debate and decision that may follow on that. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.